What's up, everybody? Welcome to the OZone, part of the Atheist Roundtable. I don't know where you're at, but I'm in northern Indiana, and we got snowed the fuck in. There's a lot of snow on the ground, and it's just a little chilly outside. So it's a good day to have a YouTube channel, shows to do, and be able to chop it up with y'all and have some fun. So we are going to review Pasta Mike's latest installment of Atheist Pizza that he recorded with myself and Chris and Logan, two Calvinists. I think Chris says he's like borderline Calvin. I don't know how all that works anymore, but we're going to go through that and kind of pick it apart and go from there. But before we do that, I just want to talk about two things that Tart has coming up. First and foremost, on the 20th. So this Saturday, I'm super fucking pumped for this. Atheist Roundtable presents Turn Up, Normalizing Atheism, and we're focusing on new content creators in the YouTube atheist community. We have I believe it's 14 or 15 new channel owners or creators that'll be a part of that, and that's gonna be a cool format. And yeah, I'm excited for them to for some of them to be able to meet them and have some conversations with them, but also to help them get their name and their content out there. So that's going to be awesome. So again, that's Saturday night, and I bumped it up to an 8 p.m. Start just because we had so many creators, and I don't want to go into the wee hours of the night where we get less exposure for the ones that are on later in the show. So again, that's Saturday. If you don't have the notifications and everything turned on in YouTube, I would do it for that one. You're going to want to be there to support all of them. And let's see, the other one, I just posted the actual YouTube thumbnails and everything last night. I have most of the details worked out as far as structure and what this is going to look like, and it is going to be quite the feat to pull it off. But I'm pretty damn confident and convinced that we're going to be able to do this and do it professionally, and it be fun to watch, exciting to watch and listen to, and still be educational, which is always what we're trying to do. Is let's have fun and mix that with education, or let's educate and mix a little fun in there. So this one is going to be a Tart Live Ultimate Debate Championship. So it's going to be on a Saturday. That's going to be March 20th. So it's going to be one day, 12 debaters, 11 debates. It's to come down to one champion, one winner. And I'm going to have some judges that will be determine the winner. That way we're fair and consistent as far as how we name the winners. And people say, how are you going to do 11 debates in one day? That's impossible. So what it is the first 10 debates will be miniature, basically, what's the word I want? Condensed, I guess, debates, abbreviated, where they're only going to be like 20 to 25 minutes long. and it's going to be kind of like speed dating. And they will be simulcast. I'm trying to figure out if we do it go two at a time on you, or I'm sorry, here through Tart, or if we approach another channel or creator and see if they want to do it at the same time, and then that way you can go, depending on who you want to watch, or you could have both of them up at the same time. So kind of like the NCAA tournament feel as far as that's concerned. And we'll do that. And then we haven't decided the dollar amount yet, but there'll only be one prize, and that's for the winner. It'll be like a cash, like a Visa card, a Visa or MasterCard that a generic one that you can use anywhere. So we will have that. The amount has not been determined yet, but that will be what the winner gets. And we'll see how it goes. But I've put in front of a few people, select people so far that I knew that I could trust to, number one, give me honest feedback on, is it a good idea? Is it a terrible idea? You're an idiot for even thinking that, or it's a great idea, and how can I help you? And kind of keep it within us until we get everything. Until we get everything rolled out and in the details. God, spit it out. Anyway, enough said about that. Just keep your eyes and ears open, and we'll get the finalized details out for all that. But I'm excited for that. So I'll be sending out links for a Google Forms, Google Form link. There we go. And that way, for those that want to participate, any debaters that want to participate, they can go there, fill out the forms. And those that first time around, probably going to go the most, those with the most experience. That way we can bring the best quality debates, and then we'll see for the next one how it goes. Where do you go? Theo said, yeah, just saying, last time you had 6 hours for 2 debates. Yeah, but it wasn't that structured, Theo. Come on. And the second one, the 2.0, was kind of just, it just happened by accident. But let's say what's up to everybody in the chat here, and then we'll get going. First and foremost, the one and only Mrs. Oz, my way better half. What's up, beautiful? And she's on a snow day. She's home today. Theo, tempting. The best idea would be free plus my. What's up, Brain Bug? Tobin, what's up? What's up? Oz was asking good questions in interview. Thank you. Yeah, we'll dig into it here in a minute. And really, I'm sure there'll be a couple critiques that I point out with Chris and or Logan, but I want to do my best to critique myself. Blazing Wizard Pope, what's up? What's up? Josh, what's up, man? I think. What's up, Ethan? What's up, Ethan? So I've said it before, but Ethan, Nate Dogg, and myself are working on details for our comedy show we're going to do on Sunday nights. And let's just set the 3 of us together. That's going to be an interesting show. It's going to be the one. Juice Sam, what up? What up? What up? Samuel Do Nothings. What's going on? Kyle Brewer just jumped in. What's up? Brainbug said debate tournament. Oh, StreamYard always does that to me. Sounds intriguing. Who are your judges? Well, it won't be me because of, I'm the one putting together. So I'll just kind of sit back and make sure everything's running smooth. But I have a few people in mind, and I'm gonna, when I put out the request for those that want to debate, I'm also going to have a link for those that would like to be judges, or anybody that just like to help behind the scenes, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot that we need to orchestrate as we, start really building this, putting this thing together. So I know Dr. Josh wanted to be a part of it. So I know he'll probably be one. But as of right now, I haven't got that far. But we'll try to make sure that that's fair. I'd like to have, because we, like the first round has let's see, I'm thinking the bracket in my head. Has six of the like mini debates. So I would like to have three atheists, three theist judges. That way again it's not all biased one way or the other with all atheists or all theist judges. But we'll see how it all pans out. Yeah, let's talk about no chance. Yeah, let's talk about this video. So for those that aren't aware of Atheist Pizza, Pasta Mike started this I want to say about 2 months ago, and as some of the regulations and everything with COVID kind of started to loosen up a little bit, and go and do live in-person videos, interviews with people, atheists or theists. I know the first one was with just Jeff, and then the second one was with just Jeff and John, and then the third one was with Pasta Mike and Chris Ullery. I can't remember the same name, right? Ullery, I think it is. And then part 2 of that one was myself, Chris, and Logan, which is the one we're going to talk about tonight. Brain Bug said he'll debate Dr. Josh about bugs. Oh, Theo, that's crazy. Our restaurants and the bars have been open for quite a while now. I mean, you still have to be masked up and everything, obviously, but okay, I was just taking a break from shelling 10 tons of cold white bullshit. Yeah, I make my kids do that shit now. I'm too old. But yeah, so this one, they both are. Well, I know Logan is like 100%. Man, the strings are all messed up. Is 100% Calvinist, and I believe Chris is for the most part Calvinist. I think there's a couple things that he doesn't line up with, but he buys in the predestination and you're the suppression of your belief and all that. So you might as well call himself a Calvinist, in my opinion. But yeah, so we have a great conversation, and there's a couple things that I already know when we go through this. I wish I would have pushed a little harder on. I wish I would have dug in a little more on a couple of the things. But let's get into it. All right, so we'll just get it going here. Not waste a bunch of time.
Hey, Oz, quick, run. They know Murder Shed Steve's in town.
Oh, shit.
So now that Oz isn't here, guys. So how do you feel the episode 3, part 2 went, Chris?
Oh, man. It's always a privilege for me to be able to meet with guys, especially that don't believe like I do. Talking with Oz was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you for putting it together.
Jim Ben, what's up? Joan, what's up? And I will say, Jim, I'm a big boy, but I have very deceiving big boy quickness. I'm just going to tell you, the big boy can get up and go. Now the problem is, where the problem comes, is stopping. Stopping is the issue.
I thought it went really well. I really do. Got a lot of solid points in and a lot of counterpoints, and I thought Oz asked some very real questions that are not uncommon.
I love to have the conversation. I love to learn, hear why people believe what they believe and how they arrived there. I still haven't met or heard a convincing argument or conversation yet. The only thing we're missing, I feel like I need to get up on the gate there and elbow drop Chris off the top rope. The best way to have it.
So you guys can appreciate that, Chris. It's kind of a running joke between us now, because at one point, one of my for those who don't know, I freestyle rap sometimes. I'm not very good anymore, but on one of them I was rapping. I said, "My name's Oz, Ozzy Kamikaze," and then later we found out that Chris was a professional wrestler at one point, like a regional professional wrestler, and his ring name was Kamikaze Chris. So now it's this thing like who was kamikaze first, and then so that joke there was I feel like there was a banister there. I said, "Well, you heard me." I said, "I feel like I need to get up on top of that banister and do a flying elbow drop on Chris." So good times, good times. Just say a backstory there.
The conversation with an atheist is to ask how we came to that position or why we're in that position, and then go from there.
If you could sit with one of the members of TARP, besides the owner, creator, producer, director, who would it be?
I'd have to say, it's funny because, like I said, I really did not like him when we started.
When you first met him?
Well, whenever I first saw his TikToks, right? And so I would really enjoy sitting down. I love the difference of opinion I have with him, and I think we could have a really good conversation.
So again, on some of this, I'll give you guys some backstory that that's there. So Pasta Mike and I met on TikTok. We met Chris also on TikTok, and let's just say when I met Chris originally, a little over a year ago, I was still 100% in my fuck you, you're a Christian, fuck off with all your bullshit, fantasy land garbage, angry fucking atheist stage, where it was like as soon as you said anything that sounded dogmatic or judgmental or anything, I literally told you to take your Bible, turn it sideways, and stick it in your ass. You know, it was, you know, I was ugly. So Chris had a good reason to not like me. He had a very good reason not like me, and that's why you'll hear him. I think he says it a couple times on here. How just watching. Not just growth, but my maturation process through this, and not just as an atheist, but as a human and a man, and learning that I can completely disagree with your religious or worldviews, but still have a great conversation with you. And that was probably the biggest compliment that I got out of this entire experience, was hearing Chris say that, because Chris and I very, very much did not like each other, over a year ago. So it's cool to see that we can sit down now and chop it up and have a good time.
Hey, it's Pasta Mike here with episode 3 of Atheist Pizza. I'm back in Rome, Georgia, with my boy, Chris Ullery. But I got a couple of extra guests today, and we're going to meet them. Part 2.
Johnny's Deluxe.
Johnny's Deluxe, a.k.a.
That Atheist Pizza, dog.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dog.
Do you guys have a preference on where I place everything?
Hey, if y'all are in that Rome, Georgia area and you got a Johnny's Pizza, that shit was banging. And anybody knows me, I hate crust. Like, I never eat pizza crust. I ate all that crust. Except for I think one piece I didn't eat because it was like super burnt. But yeah, that shit was good.
No.
No? Okay.
Whatever's best for you.
Margarita.
Yeah.
Deluxe.
Yeah.
Let me grab some more plate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember if they did, but to answer a couple of questions in the chat, my pizza was the meat lovers or whatever. But I do love pineapple on pizza. And if you disagree, fight me.
Is she taller than you?
What's up, Godless Granny?
Christian Pizza. Oh, God damn it. What are you getting, us? Well, anyway, let's get over to Chris, because Chris is actually a little bit
Such
bigger
an
than
ass.
you. Chris is actually taller than you. Look at that.
I don't know.
No, actually, it's the river.
I think we're very close.
Yeah. Hey,
I like to find out why people believe. What is it that convinces people that
Yes, Theo.
a belief or a story is true? What's the basis? What's the foundation? Is it justified? What's the reason? Beliefs, ideas, whether they're good or bad, should be questioned, and skepticism should be.
Breaking news. Coffee likes mushroom pizza. I would have never guessed that shit. Never, ever, ever.
Applied all the time.
how long were you a Christian for?
30 plus years.
And what type of denomination of Christianity did you adhere to?
The crazy ones, evangelical, yeah, speaking in tongues, slinging oil. All
The
over
crazy
place.
ones.
That's considered evangelical?
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been a non-believer for how long?
4 years now.
Okay. And you consider yourself to be atheist?
Yeah, agnostic atheist, if we're going to get to the technical terms.
That's like the technical terminology for it?
Nowadays it is.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get some pizza. And
Atheist pizza.
yeah, it lacks belief in anything that's considered healthy.
Right. And for the record, I'm
Hold on, we're talking about pizza, and Brainbug just dropped a truth bomb right here. Go to Chicago, go to Giordano's, order the Greek pizza. You can thank me later. I have had that, and I've had many Giordano's pizza. It's actually T and I's favorite place to go, like when we go to Indy, or because they got one there now, and they have one here in Fort Wayne, but we haven't went to it yet because the wait is like 4 or 5 hours. So as soon as that slows down a little bit, we will go. But yeah, Giordano's is that shit. It's that shit, dog. The good shit, not the bad shit, guys. Quit being literal all the time. Damn atheists.
an atheist that is not a vegetarian.
So you kill animals.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely. And I eat them.
they're delicious.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Some of them are more delicious than others, though. You gotta admit that.
Absolutely. I'll eat.
Godless Granny, yes, I dox myself all the time. But yeah, I'm not from here. Lived here for approaching 10 years now. But yeah, this my mom's side of the family, a bunch of them are from here. It's not why I moved here, but are from here as well.
All of the pork. So that covers all the religions.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
man.
difficult thing to talk about.
All right, here we go.
Because a lot of it, and I know people don't like this, but a lot of it is experience. You've had your own experiences, right, in the Christian faith, and that's not to discredit those whatsoever. It's just a matter of to me, when I see a Christian, a believer, if it doesn't continue or if it doesn't even show, for example, I think it was, I can't remember who it was, maybe Scott, that was talking about, if I see a Christian that immediately starts cussing in their, yeah, I think it was Scott. He was like, immediately they lose any credibility they have as a believer. And I agree with that. Now, it doesn't mean that we're perfect, obviously, because we're not. There's a lot of things that we struggle with. We sin against God, consistently with. But it's a matter of, is there any growth with you and God at all? And the experiences that I'm talking about with you, the why, it's such a hard thing to answer because, man, there's things that you have lived that if I try to put into words, it's not going to come across the same. And somebody.
Oh, where'd I go? That's, you know what? That's a good question. I can't remember if they did or not. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah, because I think Apostle Mike just kind of sat there and stared at each other like, so what do we hold hands? What do we do?
Somebody that doesn't believe can be like, that's just, what's the word? The legal word that I've heard you say quite often. It's for like an experience, somebody else's
Anecdotal.
Yeah, right. So it's an anecdotal type of thing. So, but hopefully conversations like this, things might come up that normally might not, And so that's what it is for me.
So when I ask the why question, it's okay if it's not that easily explained, then why are you convinced?
Sure. I think it goes back for me, and I talked a little bit about this with Mike the first time we did this.
And see, the reason I bring that up is, and I think for the atheists in the room here, being a former believer, I just don't. I can't wrap my head around just believing something just because somebody told me that I should believe it on faith because it's a good thing to believe in without good evidence. but then when we ask for evidence, the evidence we get are just words and words and words and more words. It makes it even more ridiculous for me personally to believe in that, because that's not good evidence. And then I struggle trying to then get on that person's, I don't know if you want to call it wavelength, or they're trying to understand their standards of evidence. What is their logical process or pattern, and trying to figure out how that happens, because I can say that, I'm trying to make this make sense. I don't remember how I logically continually told myself that it was real, or convinced myself that it was real. Like, I don't remember how I did that. So now it's me trying to remember how I did that, if this makes any sense at all, and put myself back in their shoes, and I just can't do it based on words. So that's one of the reasons I asked that question. With all of the words, it shouldn't be, the moral of the story of all that to me is, it shouldn't be that difficult. If this God is all powerful, all knowing, and he's everywhere, and he created everything from the beginning to the end, he's the Alpha and the Omega. He should be very easily explained, but yet we have nothing. We have absolutely nothing that we could consider good enough evidence to convince us that this God is a real living thing that interacts with us on a daily basis. So let's proceed.
But I'm just fully convinced. Like, when I hear, man is evil, that's what I guess I'm known for on TikTok or whatever, because that's what I always talk about, right? Man is evil, God is good. Always talking about that. And I think people in general have this idea that man is pretty much good. And a lot of people look at it like God is the evil one, because after all, read the Bible, look at all the things that happen, right? But what if there is more to the story than just meets the eye? For example, people love to talk about, well, why would God, we were just talking about it, right? Why would God command people to kill babies and rip the baby out of the womb and all these things? Here's the thing. A lot of people also say they want God to stop evil, right? So you have the Amalekites, for example. If you have the Amalekites, who we know were wicked according to Scripture, and God says, go and stop these people, kill them, do whatever it had, men, women, and children. Now, the moral person looks at that as like they're innocent, but what are they going to become? If, for example, if you have a terrorist in some foreign land and they're being raised by, or the child is being raised by terrorists, chances are they're going to become terrorists, right? So equally,
no,
if
that's
God
not right.
commands the death of men, women, and children to stop,
that's one of the spots there where I was listening. I was trying to figure out where he was going with the justification of murdering children and unborn babies being ripped out of a womb, that I completely missed that the first time. It's when I went back and watched it, and I was like, God damn it, how did I miss that? Because he just said, well, if somebody is raised in a house around terrorists, they'll more likely become a terrorist. No, fuck no. That's not even. Is there a possibility? Yes. Is it more than likely that it's a complete misrepresentation?
Evil, and you simultaneously want him to do that, but then you say that's genocide somehow. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, no, I think part of that goes, though, Chris, is there's if we're talking about Old Testament stories, there's the hypocrisy of just a short few books before that. God lays out the 10 commandments, and one of those being thou shalt not kill, but then he orders people to kill or to be killed.
Right.
Joan, so this man is evil, indoctrination is strong in him, silences his conscience, and you hit the nail on the fucking head. And at this point, like Chris and his buddy, well, Logan I've only met once, but Chris is a good dude, man. He's a nice guy, but that indoctrination, especially in that, is thick, and he says it all the time. He says it all the time, and not to sound like the Christians, but it does when I hear it. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that he has convinced himself that he is evil and disgusting and not worthy of anything, without the without the presence or saving abilities of this God to come and swoop in and save him from all his evilness. It does break my heart for him and all of the others that view themselves like that when they look in the mirror. I think it's really sad.
So there are so many gaps there where it's like, well, how do you explain that away? Because some argue, well, the first 3 or 4 commandments aren't even commandments about our behavior. It's about how we should treat this God or view this God. But then when we get down to actual moral actions,
what's up, Kevin?
Kill, then a few stories.
Thank you.
Well, there's the flood before that, but then even after that, we literally children and unborn babies that even if you throw free will in the conversation,
Exactly.
they didn't even have free will. They didn't even get to choose whether they were going to do good or bad. But this God that's supposed to be the standard holder and is creating these laws is the same one handing out these commandments to go do exactly what he said not to do. So that's where the moral conflict comes in. And if he is the moral standard, how?
That's a really good point. And I think one thing we have to remember is
Kyle, yes, and that's the point that I serve up. Typically, I serve up on a silver platter for Christians because it is so hypocritical. And then what you get is you get the dance. You get to play a little dodgeball with them, and then if that doesn't work, they just give you the word salad until they verbally just tire you down to where you don't even have the conversation anymore. And that's my experience. And like Chris said, it is anecdotal, but I'm sure other people share the sentiment.
This life, according to Scripture, this isn't the end. This is a temporary stop in eternity. And so if we really are supposed to be living for eternity, regardless of what happens here, all of it matters. Don't get me wrong. But this is the in-between eternity. So if I'm living for heaven or hell, really living to go to heaven.
And I hate stopping right now. He's going to finish the eternity part. That's the other thing that I wish I would have pushed back a little bit on this, but I was wanting he and Logan to understand that I was there to listen to them and not just come out with Atheist Pizza haymakers, and that I was there to listen to them and hear them. I do wish I would have jumped in on this part, because this is another thing. So that we are evil, we're disgusting, right? There's that part. Then we say that things here matter. For Christians, we say that things here matter, but actually they don't matter, because what we're actually living for here is eternity and heaven with God. So what we're doing is we're wasting this life away, counting on an afterlife that now put our atheist hat back on. We have no good reason to believe that shit's even real, right? We have no good reason to believe that there's a heaven, that there's a hell, there's an afterlife, there's an eternity. But yet you're going to waste this one life that you get, from what we know, this one life that you get, on hoping and believing that something's real that you've never ever. I heard somebody on a Seth Andrews podcast the other day, and I actually like this. I'm gonna use it and see if it's effective or not. But he was talking about how he has started asking people, if they ask, if he believed that a God is real, he'd say, well, before I answer that, can you describe God to me? What does God look like? Because I may have met God, I don't know. Describe God to me. What does it look like? How does he interact with you? And I was like, that's just for a thought exercise or project. I thought that was good and interesting. Not that it's going to prove anything, but it'd be interesting to see how people respond to that. But anyway, to that, I hate that Chris and all the other Christians or whatever religious view promises them eternal heaven or hell. I hate that they're wasting their one fucking life that they have on something that that is more than likely to be a big old ball of bullshit.
Or living to go to hell. That's what really matters. So if God says, for example, Abraham, right? He commanded him to go and kill his only son.
No, Pavel D. This is the review.
A precursor.
Oh, God damn it! I missed it.
Would do, but God didn't. God stopped his hand. He didn't stop.
I gotta go back to that.
Whenever he sacrificed his son, so that we could come to him, right?
I'm glad that you brought that story up. That's my favorite story.
Okay.
So,
I lost
so
him. Damn
we're,
it.
we're both fathers. So my first question would be,
So this is one probably my favorite, if not my favorite, top 2 or 3 Bible stories to go to as far as just showing the complete selfish, arrogant, psychotic character of God, and then absolutely destroys Corinthians 13's description of love. Not every single step of that in Corinthians, but the overall premise around it just destroys it.
you have kids? Okay. So,
Yeah, Logan, jump into this.
yeah. So I have 4 of my own, and I have 2 stepchildren. I don't care what the God is, Bible God, whatever God. If a God, a person, whatever, asks me, hey, to demonstrate your love and your loyalty to me,
Yeah, Joan, and you'll hear it on here, brings up a great point. The mental part. I won't spend a lot of time right now because it'll come back up. But yeah, there's obviously the physical part. There's the God part. That's all of it's fucked up, all of its own right. But the mental abuse that happened there, the mental trauma that happened there, and then for people to try to shove it under the rug like it wasn't real, didn't happen, never existed, you're only fooling yourself, bro. You're only fooling yourself. So I won't go through the whole thing, so we'll get to it in a minute. But yes, John, that's actually part of the reason I like talking about that story. Is that's the part that not nobody, but very few people I hear have that conversation in the Abraham and Isaac conversation or argument. They very rarely talk about that.
I want you to take whatever child up on this hill or mountain, whatever, and I want you to kill them. But forget that we know the ending of the story. It's just that.
Yep.
Would you do it?
That's a great question. I don't know if I could, to be honest. Because
Hell no, you wouldn't.
Do you think that that's morally acceptable for a God or anyone to ask a parent to murder or kill their child?
Well, again, I think we have to go to this isn't the be all end all. So if I'm a believer and I believe that God really is asking me to do this, and I'm going to be a follower of him, and if I don't do it, that means I go to hell. That kind of changes things because, again, eternity is what matters. If my child dies early, is God just? Will he do right by that child?
Well, but
Right.
that's not the same conversation.
Well, it's part of it.
Well, but because we get into kids
Right, I
having
know.
cancer and dying. That's a whole different conversation than a God saying, Chris,
Yeah, I get it.
to demonstrate, or Logan, to demonstrate your love and loyalty, I want you to go kill your child.
Sure. And I think a big part of that comes from knowing him. So is God good? That's what it always comes down to.
Exactly. So is that a good?
No, it's not. And Chris, I love you. It never comes down. It never comes down to knowing God. Doing bad shit is doing bad shit. Harming human beings is harming human beings. Causing physical or mental, emotional harm or trauma is never okay. And it doesn't matter if there's a God involved or not. It's not okay. And the God doesn't just get to write it off because his way, or we don't get to write it off, that it's okay that he does it because his ways are higher than our ways and he supposedly created us and blah, 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 blah. We know all of that. It's still fucking wrong. Period. It's wrong to kill people. It's wrong to harm people. It's wrong to cause trauma. They can't do it. And being a God is not a justification.
By my own understanding, no. But here's the problem. I'm evil. And this is why I start, by the way, all the time with man is evil. So if God really is good, anything that he says is going to be good. Anything.
Would you ask me, Chris, ask Oz, would you ask me to kill any of my kids to prove my friendship to you?
No.
So,
who's evil?
Oh, I forgot I asked that.
That's your understanding of what's good and evil. But if an evil person is the one asking it, therefore.
Oh, I forgot I asked it like that. I've asked it similarly before. I need to write that down, or my ADHD brain will forget that. If I asked you as a human, we're friends, I need you to prove your love and loyalty to me. Chris, you're my, let's say we're best friends. You're my best friend. I need to know that. I want you to kill one of your kids right now. Would you do it? if that don't hit you right in your Christian nuts, I don't know what does.
Anything that they do is going to be against God. And so this is where we go with, are you really following God or not? I did not like you, and I did not like you. And I told him, actually, I used you, Oz, in a recent Christian podcast that I did. So, do you know Discerning Dad on there? I don't know. He's got like 20-something thousand followers.
Yeah, for the record, for the ones that have jumped in since we kind of did the intro on this, Chris and I, we did not like one another a little over a year ago. So it is cool. A lot of it has to do with me getting over my angry atheist stage because I was just a big old giant fucking dick all the time to him. And it's cool now that we can do this.
I think.
That's why I don't know him. I'm down with 1,000 people.
Yeah. No, he's really cool though. He's a really nice guy. His name's Tim, and he had me on his podcast. And one of his things is discernment. He's like, he wants to give the time that you did and didn't use good discernment, right? And I use you as the example of the time.
Oh, no need to apologize.
I put a promo on.
No need to
I ended up
apologize.
deleting the video and taking it down and saying I'm sorry and all that.
How long did it stay up for?
I don't
Is
remember.
Was that for like a day?
Probably a couple days, if I remember right. It could have been shorter. I
I
don't
was like the time that you started to dress like I wear hoodies and hats.
I do love hoodies, man. Oh my gosh, that's, to be honest with you, that's from my son. He wears hoodies all the time, and I was like, man, I do love hoodies.
nah, he on TikTok, like it, like I've dressed like this like for years. My style has always been my style: flat bill hat, hoodie when it's cold, t-shirt, jeans. I love sweatpants. I'll wear fucking sweatpants everywhere if I can. Just my shtick, my gimmick, whatever. Just like Darth Dawkins has a list and a script. I do with my wardrobe. But yeah, all of a sudden, Chris comes on TikTok and he's like, got a flat bill hat with I have the heathen hat right back here. It's got the spider webs on the bill, and he goes and gets a hat. It's got shit on there. He's got a hoodie, look just like one of my hoodies. And he comes in. I'm like, this dude's like straight up like jocking my style, trying to bite my style. So we gave him a hard time about it, but it's all good now.
So I started getting into hoodies.
I was like, Pasta, look, he's jocking my style. You got to have a good amount of grease with Atheist Pizza.
What's up with Calvin?
God
Chris is almost a Calvinist.
God has already ordained everything. It is what it is. Why are we even discussing it?
Okay, here's how I see it.
I hear you, Kyle. Let the church say amen.
And you can jump in on this too, because I think you'll probably have.
What's
some
up,
stuff to
compelled
say, too.
unbeliever?
What I would
So are
say
you
is,
both Calvinists?
huh?
Are you both Calvinists?
I'm 100%.
Good to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Reformed theology. Yep. Reformed
And the
theology.
camera switches straight to the Calvinist.
No, but it's like this, man. If I know that every day at 10 o'clock my daughter gets on her phone or something, does that mean that just because I know
Thank you,
that's
Theo.
going to happen, that she's somehow doesn't have that free will or
Gio's in the house.
destined to do it? Or does that mean I just know it's going to happen? Do you see what I'm saying? That's a rhetorical question. But-
Well, absolutely, because you're not.
Absolutely, it's rhetorical.
well, right, but that's just me knowing. I can say, for example, my daughter's on her phone all the time. Okay,
Listen to
it
this.
doesn't first of all literally mean she's on it all the time. It just means she's constantly on it. But if I know at a certain time during every day she does the same thing, and I say, okay, tomorrow at this time she's going to do this, it doesn't mean she's predestined to do it. It just means I know she's going to do it, right? And so with that,
No, because you're talking about you're basing that on knowledge of probability. Like you're going to probability.
sure,
Where God is the author, right? He's
Just
the
as-
author and
just
the
as-
creator. So he prescribed it. Like
get that.
it's already known. So it's already known before we even step into free will. Before it's known, then certain conversations are completely a waste of air and gas because it's already done.
Is that your problem with Calvinism? Well,
Yeah. So this is where Calvinism came up, and this is where it's not my problem. I have no problem with Calvinism other than I think you believe in, a God that doesn't exist, just like every other brand of Christianity. But the one thing I like to point out about Calvinism is, or the question I like to ask is, why waste your time? If everything is predestined and you believe that God already is the know-how be all, and everything's already set in stone, why have conversations about it? Just live your damn life and let everybody else live their damn life, because it's all done anyway. The elect are the elect. The elect get to go to heaven, and I guess the rest of us, I forget what happens to the other ones that believe, but everybody else, you can go burn in hell. But that's one thing I don't understand about Calvinists, is why they even waste their time talking about it. Like if you that's what you believe and you know that to be true, or believe that to be true, to say it properly, why the fuck even talk about it? Why even talk about it? Ghost Lovin', what's up? Blazes Pizza? Nope, we were at a place called Johnny's in Rome, Georgia. Georgia.
is the predestination side of it?
I personally don't really have an issue per se with
Yes, you do.
with Calvinism. I have a problem with whether it's Calvinism or any of the Christian, sects that try to throw free will out there like it's a thing.
Sex.
According to the Bible. That's my stick. It's like,
dirty
none of
bastard.
you are, in my opinion, none of you are correct.
Why is this guy talking about sex?
None of you are correct, because there's no such thing.
If there wasn't such a thing, would that, like, if God is the author of everything, would he have the right to do that?
What do you mean?
Like, if everything is predestined, if he said, let's say he's only ordained that one person is going to get saved and go to heaven out of all of humanity, does he have the right to do that if he's God?
Sorry, I missed this earlier, probably when I was running my big mouth. Kyle said, do you think some of these apologists come from a place of wanting to believe it and then applying that want to their apologetics? I absolutely believe that there are some that they want it. I think for several different reasons. Some is, they've based their entire life on it, and they don't want to have their entire world view or religious view shattered. Others, they have been through a lot and they need a security blanket or a safety blanket, and that's not me talking shit, because I was that person at one point, kind of a mixture of the two. So yes, I would say, yeah, I think not all, but I think there's a portion of them that do. Hell, I think there's a lot of pastors that it's their full-time gig. That's how they make their money. They take care of their families, pay their bills. They do all that really question their belief, or maybe even don't believe anymore, but can't do that. They can't not believe, because that's livelihood. That's how they take care of themselves and their family. So they'll probably never walk away unless they get fired or do some dumb shit and lose that position. But yeah, it's sin.
If he is real, sure, why not?
And because here's what I mean by that, and it's not like a gotcha thing by any means. I don't want you to think that. But
Well, it's only sending one person to heaven. I don't think you're getting me.
well, here's what I mean by that. What I mean is just the fact that he would save anybody if we all really truly are evil. Is
Miss
more
Ghost,
than enough grace
Mick Ghost Levin, I
to
believe
worship
the
him.
answer to that is yes, but don't quote me.
And the fact that he would save any of us is amazing to me, because all of us are evil and sinned against him and deserve hell.
Okay, so let's pause there, because I think that will help when we go into free will. Okay. So, and I know that this is a common conversation, again, with most Christians, with Calvinists. I know evil, predestination. So first of all, why am I evil simply because I was born? How is it even a moral thing to do to your creation that one one or two people make one bad decision, and now everybody has to suffer the
Do you
consequences.
think you could have done better than Adam and Eve?
What do you mean?
They were living in a utopia.
And that's one where, you know, this was my first time meeting Logan. You know, we're doing the Atheist Pizza face-to-face interview. So I didn't, as soon as he said that, my immediate want to react, and I'm glad I didn't react, and I chose to respond. My immediate reaction was to be like, whoa, that's not. It's not. Could I do better? We're not talking about me. I've never even been able. I've never been asked to be a god. I wasn't born a god, I don't know what it's like to have the responsibility of being a god. All I know is we did this, and you asked me if I can do it better. I don't know. I've never had the opportunity. I never will have the opportunity. But your God, you're claiming your God has. So let's not worry about me. Let's go. Let's go into that. And that's one of the common things. Again, Calvinists will try to do is try to flip that part of the conversation. And do you think you can do better? Do you think you can be more like God? And I don't think it was recorded, but I don't think it made it onto the cut. But they actually told me, when I was asking for some of the things that I would need to know or need to have to believe in a God, then what I told them that then they told me that that's not good enough because I just want to be like God, and I can't be like God. I just have to believe. I just have to believe for the sake of believing. So, yeah. But you'll see, other than that, you'll see the rest of what I'm talking about.
It took one sin, right, for the fall of all of humanity, all of the earth.
What's the sin?
Anything that goes against what God said.
God told them, do not do this.
Right.
And they
specifically did.
And they're living in the most perfect scenarios, and they still sin.
Okay, so I love it. I love that you went there. And this is, to me, and you may disagree. Okay. To me, this is the knockout punch. So then it was never free will. It was an ultimatum.
An ultimatum?
Ultimatum.
I'm just kidding.
Or a tomato. We can go with
Yeah,
tomatoes.
an ultimatum.
I don't have tomatoes on my
That was funny.
Margarita pizza.
Old tomato.
Yeah. Okay,
They're
so
delicious.
sorry,
No
say
tomato.
that one more time. I didn't mean.
So with Adam and Eve in the garden, that was not free will because they didn't even know what free will was, right? They were
in
told.
a perfect scenario, a utopia, right? Everything was laid out.
But
They still had free will, though. They could still choose whether or not they were going to honor God.
how?
Well, they had free will. He said, "Do not do this," and they had the option to do it or not do it. So I don't.
That's not free will. So if we have kids and we say, do this or else,
Okay.
it's a choice, but it's an ultimatum. It's not free will because free will by definition,
An ultimatum.
you make a decision without the influence of an external agent, right? And so now you have influence from an external agent on that decision. That's no longer free will.
What's up,
We're talking about
Trillion?
an ultimatum. Do this or else.
I guess when I say free will, I'm just because that's very into the semantics, and I get what you're saying.
Well, no, that's if we're going to have that conversation, we still have to apply
Well, you can
definitions.
call
We
it.
can't.
And the chat, Plastic Jesus, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. And most of the folks I think we have in the chat right now are seasoned vets when it comes to arguing against some of this stuff. But if there's anybody that's not, or you watch this later on, it's not live, you're watching the recorded version of this. Anytime a Christian of any brand or whatever accuses the skeptic, and the reason I use this word skeptic there is an intentional thing. As soon as they accuse you of getting into semantics, when we're talking about definitions and how we define words and terms, press pause and assess the situation and try to figure out why they're saying that. There's a reason. And they know that either A, they're beginning to lose a grip on the conversation and they don't know which direction to go, or they know they're getting ready to get back to a corner that they can't get out of. And if you attack the original sin doctrine or belief there in the garden, and you do not concede, and you just push and push and push, that no, that is not free will, because the philosophical definition of free will is the ability to make a decision without the external influence of an outside agent, or I'm sorry, able to make a choice without the influence of an external agent, meaning there can't be a god, a supernatural, a person that's going to beat you, or there can't be a penalty for that decision. Well, guess what free will is not? It's not that. It's not that at all, because free will is, you're free to make the decision. So I'll grant you that, but it's not free will, because I do not get to act within my will without a penalty. Because if I don't act within your will, God, then I go to hell. So it's not my free will. It's just my freedom to make a decision. What it really is then is an ultimatum, where it is, you have two options that you can pick which one you want to do, but just know one has a reward and the other one is you get to burn and be, for eternity, be tormented, and there's gnashing of teeth, and you're going to beg the God or whoever for one drop of water, and so that's an ultimatum. So the reason I say all that is, as soon as you hear that word come out of a Christian's mouth, well, now you're just getting into semantics, and now you're going to press the pause button. Press a strategic pause there and gather yourself and figure out why they're saying that, because you either got them on the ropes, or they just have no idea what they're talking about.
That's fine. You can call it whatever you want, but you're still free to do whatever you're going to do, whether you obey God or not, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a choice that you're going to make. Am I going to follow what God said to do or not?
Okay, so then
really
if we, I'm cool with that. If we all agree that it's not free will, then we can continue that conversation, because I do agree that it's an ultimatum.
I agree that you think it's not free will, yeah.
I think it's still free will.
How?
They have the free will to either do what God says, even regardless if they're external.
No, free will means there wouldn't have been a penalty.
According to who? Who says this?
That's definition. You can look it up.
Who made that definition? What I'm saying is, anybody can. You're choosing what.
And see, you see what he's doing. Again, I love Chris, but you can see what they're doing there. There's no way to explain this away. So now we're going to try to get into semantics and definitions. Well, who said that? Who defined it? Well, man did, just like man has defined God, just like man has defined faith, man has defined free will. It's the same process. But now because we're on the, respectfully, we're on the ropes. Now we want to start to pick that apart, because we now understand that there's not a logical process in order to justify this free will claim, especially in the Garden of Eden. That story specifically is not free will, and there's no way you can bend it, crack it, break it to make it be that. And that I'll use their word in that context. Boom. Fight me.
You believe free will is. According to
thanks for hanging out, Kyle. Appreciate you.
Everything on, as you know, it's
But
not a secret.
free will is made up by Christians. Free will is not even talked about in the Bible.
Not specifically. A lot of things are. As you know, rapture isn't mentioned in the Bible, but a lot of people
Yes, it is.
believe
Yes, it is. I love. See, this is why I like going back. This is like my third time watching this. And I miss little things, or I hear little things I missed. No, free will is not in the Bible, and yes, a rapture, a form of a rapture, is definitely in the book. It's definitely in the book. How do I know this? Because I got it preached to me and scolded by it, or scolded with it for fucking years. So I know it's there.
Aren't mentioned, but they're kind of encapsulated into certain things. And I have an interesting, by the way, view on this, and this is why I don't just identify as a Calvinist necessarily. I don't know what you would call me, to be honest with you, because there's things that
yes. So secular rarity. First of all, thanks for hanging out. Wait, these guys are Calvinists. If God predetermined whether you go to heaven or get punished eternally, then you can't have free will. It can only be will. Exactly. And I think you can make that argument whether they're Calvinists or evangelicals or whatever. That free will is bullshit. If there's two things that I know is bullshit in the Bible, that's free will and faith. Free will and faith are bullshit. But especially as a Calvinist, because everything is predestination, and then you'll even hear it when we're getting ready to move outside for the second part of this interview. Logan talks about there's a double predestination, which is the first time in 30 years being involved with Christianity and different forms of Christianity. I'd never heard it, but he'll talk about it in a minute. So yeah, I agree. But let's get back to the video.
Agree with necessarily too.
Well, it's not common
How
college.
about you? Is there anything within the doctrine of Calvinism you don't agree with?
I don't think so.
I don't want to.
Good point, Kevin.
Can you be a Calvinist and disagree with any Calvinist doctrine?
If that, that's a good
So
question.
there's
That's a really
the
good
doctrines of grace, or the 5 points of Calvinism, the two. Some people say they're a 4-point Calvinist or a 3-point Calvinist. They take the T, the L, limited atonement, total
Right.
depravity,
I agree with
preservation of the
all
saints. If you're a 4-point Calvinist, you're not a true Calvinist.
What's up, doorknob?
5 points.
And then there's hyper Calvinist. It goes so deep,
But
man.
can I pick a different flower? Do I have to do a tulip?
So there's bacon. They have the term bacon for Calvinism.
Perfect.
I don't know what you would like that. I'm not sure what the acronyms are for that. But
And for the record, I went and researched this afterwards, and he's not lying. There is an acronym for bacon in Calvinism. Now, it's terrible. It's a terrible outline or acronym, but it does exist.
Are you serious?
yes, bacon. Yeah.
I'm a Calvinist. but-
joking.
No, that's true. Wow, that's real.
Wow.
So there's a difference. We have to understand, though, there's a difference between theology and religion.
Yeah.
So Calvinist is not my religion. Calvinism is not my religion.
Right.
My theology is Calvinism, which is a study of God and the sovereignty of God. My religion
From
is
that French fella, John Calvin.
the French fella.
Yeah.
Killed somebody.
Nice fella. Nice fella.
Well, he killed somebody for beheaded him, right, for heresy.
I don't know.
Tomato.
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum.
But religion is the study of how human behavior. If you want to get philosophical or sociological, whatever. But so
Logan, if you watch this later, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. I don't want to get philosophical or sociological or that was funny. That was good shit, bro. That was good shit.
my theology is Calvinism, how I study God, which is it's laid out to us. And you can see that in the Bible. Total depravity, fall of
Which Bible?
ESV, English Standard Version. Is-
No, can you be a Calvinist and choose any Bible?
Yes.
So the choice of Bible isn't mutually exclusive.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Some people go NIV or pre-1985 NIV.
Some versions are
Yeah.
leaving out whole verses and stuff.
As long
The look on my face right now
Okay.
as I'm listening to this, the look on my face is all of the versions, all of the transcripts, all of the different writings, and yet we still can't get it right. And even you Christians can't agree on what the fuck it all means.
That's a good thing.
because it's all paraphrased.
Do you think Oz is an atheist because he read the wrong Bible?
No, I don't think so. What Bible did you read?
Doesn't even
The message.
matter.
No, I'm kidding.
No, I don't. It doesn't matter.
No, I was NIV. Was
How
my
long
main-
have you been a Calvinist?
2 years?
You were a Christian first, obviously.
Yes. My religion is Southern Baptist, and now I identify as Reformed Baptist.
What do you think John Calvin would have done in France if Southern Baptist movement had gone to France?
That's a good question.
So it kind of did happen. His opponent, who stood up against John Calvin, was I can't even remember his name, but it's Arminianism. Something Arminius. Okay.
Next time I do a interview with Logan, I'm going to ask him to do his best impersonation of Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil impersonation. I'll shoot you with my lasers.
And that's Southern Baptists who basically follow the Arminian theology.
They've
Not totally though, right?
taken it from that, right?
They have a lot of similarities.
They do. But so Calvinism is God does it from the beginning. Lazarus could raise
$1
himself from the
million.
dead. Arminianism says God gives you the choice, and then we can either deny it or not deny it. Sure.
And that's by the way, what I was going to say is that's where
What am I thinking right now? Not right now, right then. Right then. What was I thinking?
I don't know how to put this into words because it sounds so contradictory, but I believe we do have free will while simultaneously being predestined. Because
But you
again,
understand, like for myself, I won't speak
Yeah.
for the other atheists.
Yeah.
Just applying
Rarity?
that is
I believe so.
Absolutely. Like,
And that's, I'm hoping that I get to have another conversation, even if it's on our YouTube channel with Logan. And those are some of the theological things that I want to ask him, because I believe, yes, fundamentally and theologically, there are some conflicts that would really divide one from the other, if I remember right. And, and I do some refreshing, obviously, before I jump into that. But yeah, I think there's some divide there.
it's nowhere on the map. Like, how can you have free will, but it already be?
But I'm not saying
predestined.
I'm not saying that I don't have free will to eat this pizza.
Pause, just so everybody's aware. The great cat is here, not pink-haired crazy cat. The best cat is in the building. Thanks for joining us.
It was ordained by God for me to eat this pizza. My salvation, where I will spend eternity, is what has been predestined.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when Adam and Eve sinned, that was their eternity.
They cut my
They
pizza
were
with a
given
laser.
laser. They were given this perfect life, no disease, nothing. They sinned. That was their eternity.
Oh, hold on. Oh, did I lose it? No, there it is. Yes, which is awesome. And have you guys heard Dr. Josh's impression of Kent Hovind? Holy shit. Like, dude, the first time I heard it, like, I literally was in stitches. I was in stitches.
If we have something if this eternity thing is real, shouldn't we want good reason that we can really understand as human beings, that our little brains can understand on why to make that decision?
Well, that's the thing. Our little brain.
Right, Rarity.
About an infinite being. We're trying to look at it through the lens of our finite understanding. There's no way we're going to be able to understand it all.
So was that an error of the creator then?
I think it comes down to the fall.
What's up, Slipper?
Whenever humans fell, and that goes to anything, child cancer,
Yeah,
bone
he's
cancer, things
hilarious.
everybody loves to bring up as if it's a flaw or a defect of God. It all goes back to the fallen. It's like, I kind of look at it as, if this is a road and it stops here and God puts this stop sign up and you just hop over it, what do you expect is going to happen? So whenever we sin, we go against him and we say, no, and just jump over it. Of course things are going to fall. Of course things bad are going to happen, because he said something. In the same way that you tell your kid, don't go play in the street. And if they go and play in the street, what can you expect that's going to happen? Something good? No. And you don't say it, by the way, because you're just trying to be mean to them. You love them and you want the best for them.
But they still have free will to go play in the street. Even though you gave them an ultimatum, they still have free will to go play in the street.
So when we give our kids the ultimate tomato, and let's say the three of us together, we have whatever of our children with us, one child per person here, and we tell all three, don't go run in the middle of the road, and all three go run in the middle of the road, and none of them die, but bad shit happens, they get hurt. Do we now go and then beat them, punish them, throw them into a fiery basement for eternity?
No.
Do we do those things?
I love this question, Oz, because this is where I'm going to make some people mad. Okay, not on purpose.
Ready?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Hold on, let me get a drink. Let me get a drink.
Hold on.
Children watching, please turn away.
Yeah, turn away right now.
This is
This is a good opportunity. This message is brought to you by Johnny's Pizza in Cartersville. This is a meatloaf.
So make sure you cover up your kids' ears and eyes, because it's about to get pretty dogmatic.
Lovers Pizza, and it's a certified atheist pizza. But back over to Chris with some.
CJ, what's up? I think I forgot to call you out earlier.
It actually got turned into a John Calvin special, and it looks more like a euro. But anyway, back over to Chris with some information.
Ooh, that makes me
on
hungry
the
for a
upset to
euro.
Atheist folks.
More than likely, and not just
Damn, probably
atheists.
Christian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
maybe,
real.
maybe some
I think I know where
maybe
you're
some of
going.
these progressive
Not
Christians.
everybody is a child of God. Now hear me
No
out.
shit.
And
No
hear
shit.
me out. Everybody is created by God, okay? But think about it. If Jesus died
Hold
for
on.
everybody, right?
Hold on. How did I was too busy laughing when we were in person. How are we all created by God but not a child of God? Like, I won't dox my parents to say their names, but let's say it's Ralph and Barbara. If I was born from Ralph and Barbara, how am I not Ralph and Barbara's biological? What? Come on now. Now we're just skipping the whole like all the logic and all the rationale. Now, come on, Chris. I love you. We're better than this.
Right? Then why does anybody have to go to hell? If he died for all sins, and I believe he provided the way. Please don't misunderstand me. I try to be very careful.
No, I actually, what you just said there.
No. No. Chris, oh, I wish Chris was here right now. You can't say, oh, everybody stop what you're doing. I'm going to piss some people off. Then tell me I'm going to go to hell. And then backpedal and say, well, don't misunderstand me. No, I clearly understand what you're saying. What all other Christians, no, but most other Christians are saying is that I don't fucking deserve your heaven because you're better than me because you believe in this God. I get it. And I'm not even mad at you. I'm actually more brokenhearted that people still believe this.
Jesus was real.
Because what you said is true, and it's logical and it makes sense. Because why on earth, if I'm God and that really is my child, the one I'm going to give to Jesus, why am I going to throw him into hell, right? God has enemies, and Psalm 5:5, something we talked about too before you guys got here. Everybody loves to say, God loves the sinner but hates the sin.
Fair point, Brainbook.
It's not biblical.
I agree.
It sounds good on the back of a Christian t-shirt. Feels good, looks good, but it's not biblical because Psalm 5:5 tells
Correct.
us that he hates all workers of iniquity, meaning
He doesn't hate the works. He hates the
worker. And
The
that
person.
just means those who will not bend the knee to him, those who are not his, that he is going to give to Jesus Christ, they're against him.
What's up,
That's
Seraphim?
what hell is.
And
Hell
yes,
is
you
God's
should.
perfect
Absolutely.
justice against man who has sinned against the only eternal good God.
So again, I take that back to creator error.
How is it creator error?
Well, he's the orchestrator of all this. If you believe in that God, he orchestrated all of this.
He's ordained it.
He has to be accountable for what he created.
But he gave us free will.
That's why.
And see, it goes
so
back.
Oh,
But that's what I'm saying.
oh,
He's a creator.
oh, got him. They used to look, both of them start wiggling in their chairs. You see that? Ooh.
Of everything.
Uh-huh.
He created the man. He created the free will. He created the penalties that come from the free will.
That's a good point, Brainbug. I never thought about that.
Somewhere the creator has to be responsible and accountable for the creation and the product of the creation. Just like if I start a business and good shit happens, I get credit for it. If I make a business and it all goes downhill and all shits all over itself, I'm still accountable for it.
Let me give you a scenario that hopefully will kind of help you see where at least I'm coming from. If Ford
Notice, I just laid out a great analogy, and that's not me patting myself on the back, but very simple, great analogy to bring it back around on this topic, and neither of them even attempted to answer it. Now it's, well, let me say this.
Motor Company, right, makes a car, and they have all the safety checks, all that stuff put on. And then they sell that car to somebody that then in turn gets in a drunk driving accident. Should they be held liable for what that drunk driver did? Ford Motor Company.
I don't see what you're saying.
You don't have to answer, but you see where I'm going, right? They're not going to be held accountable because that person still had a chance or the choice whether or not to get in that car that is safe for them, but they themselves.
Oh, fuck it.
There's Ford Motor Company operating in the laws.
What do you mean?
Are they all knowing all the?
No.
Of course, that's what I see what you're saying, but it's not. Yeah, because we're talking about a God that he has the foresight of eternity, right?
Correct.
So he sees all the flags along the road, you know, and that's always going to be, you know, from original sin to we can get into this in a minute, but you know, the death and resurrection of Christ to the thought of hell. Those are the main sticking points for me, where it's like none of this logically, if we strip away what we're taught in church and from theologians, everything that have their own little twist on it, we just read it for what it is, and logically we map it out. It doesn't make sense.
Hey, Oz. Shout out to
Joan, we are at Johnny's Pizza in Rome, Georgia.
Chris Atley.
Oh yeah, Atheist Pastor, shout out.
Oh, Pavel D, they done did. They done did it. They just don't realize it. They're just running on the rims.
You can see all my drafts on there.
So they said it couldn't have been done. 2 theists and a Christian.
Oh, I won't spend a bunch of time talking about it right now. I'll save it for another episode of the OZone. But this is something I've really been digging back into recently. GeoSam is trying to find a way to communicate to where it may be, not sink all the way in, but for them to really start thinking about original sin and how literally manipulative and psychotic it is for any creator of a living being to do that, to set them up for that kind of failure, and then the ancestry after that has to suffer and be evil and disgusting for the rest of their bloodline because of one person's one decision. So yeah, it's from their God, if that God is real, but they don't want that God to have to take the responsibility and be accountable for that. That's the issue.
Oh, God damn it. 2 theists and an atheist. Oz from the Atheist Roundtable.
Which is which?
Yes. So we've got Oz out here.
Yes, go check out Godless Granny.
Christians in a heated debate. Chris Ullery's always talking about 2-on-1, 2-on-1.
What the puck is up?
And he gets his way for once. No, so a quick fire round. This is actually Atheist Pizza. Quick fire round with the 3 of you guys. Okay, hands on the buzzers. And we're going to start out actually with, when was Genesis first written?
I don't know.
Good answer. Excellent. So far, so good.
What is?
You get
I don't
points for
know
that?
for 500.
Yes. Logan, how long have you been a Calvinist?
2 years.
Oh, excellent. And is that a correct answer?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
that's correct.
Chris Ullery.
That's
Oh,
me.
excellent. Good job, Chris.
Thanks.
Who is the best looking member of TART?
Tart? No, I got
Steve. Steve.
That smile.
Murder
I
Shed
told him
Steve.
the other day.
He does. He does have some good teeth.
They said the same
You hear that, Murder Shed?
Yeah.
Chris has got the hots
Yep.
for you.
But over to Logan. This is going to be a few questions to Logan. So Logan,
Yes, sir.
Here's something completely off topic. Plastic Jesus, every time I see your username on here, I automatically get, I know it's a remake of somebody else's song, but the Marilyn Manson version of Personal Jesus, only I changed it to Plastic Jesus in my head. So random facts.
you're from Alabama?
Alabama, born and raised.
All right, so Logan, you were an atheist at one point, right?
I would identify more as agnostic if I had to put a label on it. I knew there was something, but I didn't know if it was Buddha or Krishna or whatever it was. I didn't know what it was, but I knew there was something there.
Sure. Can you first define your what's your definition of agnostic first?
So I'll give a little more comedy here to that. Paladin said I would have been hammered by this point. I did stay sober for the interview. But that night I missed my plane coming back home. So I was pretty fucking pissed. I hadn't seen my wife or my family in 3 days at that point. So I was in the lobby of the hotel by myself working on stuff. And I did, between getting pissed that I wasn't with my wife and pissed that I didn't miss the plane. And then, and then, normally after these kind of conversations, a theist, with all due respect, or atheist with all due respect to the theist, it can be a bit, like putting your head on a brick wall. I did get pretty drunk in the lobby. And even one of the security guys, because I think it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. He's like, do you have a room here? I was like, yeah, I got a fucking room. No, I'm just hanging out in here with my laptop. So he went and checked everything. But side story that was absolutely pointless, but there you go.
The way I understand it is you believe there's a higher power, but you're not sure what it is. I guess you acknowledge there's something there. You're just not sure what it is.
Okay. So your position a few years ago, this was 2 years ago, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you were in a position where you thought that there was maybe some God, but you just weren't sure what God that was.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what made you come to the conclusion that the Christian God is true?
So it goes back to what Chris said earlier about experiential. I was there's this pastor I listened to on YouTube. His name's Matt Chandler. Now I listened to him when I was younger, and I was scrolling through YouTube, and his video popped up, and I was like, oh, I remember this guy from back in the day. And I clicked on the video, and he talked about Romans 8:38. There's no condemnation in God, and I say I had this Lazarus moment where my dead heart was brought back to life, and in Calvinism, regeneration precedes faith. So I had a regenerative heart, and then I had the faith to believe that the God of the Bible is the God that is, and so that's how I came back to the faith.
And Matt, I'm not a fan of Matt Chandler. Let's just say that.
Understand. So, growing up as a young man in Alabama, you were raised as a Christian.
Yeah, correct. Southern Baptist.
Gotcha. And that's the beliefs that your parents have.
Mm-hmm.
Did you attend church?
I did every Sunday, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday. I was in church. Pretty much anytime the doors were open, I was there.
Would you say at that age you genuinely thought that there was a God, or?
I think so.
Sure.
I think I was, and how can I say it? The idea of a God, I think, because the God that they preach is definitely not the God that is in the Bible, the church I went to. So I had an idea, a perception of God. I had a perception of Jesus, but it wasn't the correct one.
Sure.
So,
now, how could you differentiate between knowing of Jesus and the perception of a God had you had not been taught by your parents?
So are you saying would I still have the same beliefs if I wasn't raised in it? Is that what?
Somewhat. I mean, that could be an offshoot of the question, but my question would be, how could you go back and differentiate between the beliefs that you had at that time if you weren't raised by your parents teaching you those? How would you have learned of Jesus the way you did by your parents? Would there have been a different set of methods and standards that you could have learned that got you to where you are now, maybe?
No, I think my parents meant well, and they tried, because that's what they were raised in.
Sure.
So I think what they believed is, and they believed what they were teaching me was right, but it was the elders and the leaders of the church that.
All right, now I can talk. You'll hear here in a second. So there's I grew up there. We went to church every Sunday, and maybe more. I think if I remember right, part of it that that he talked about. And then, eventually he came to realize that his parents had good intentions, but weren't actually teaching him the right way to believe and the right way to read the Bible, which then is another thing I wish I had more time for to talk about there. Because it's like, how do you know? How do you know which one? What if your parents were the right ones and you're wrong? Or what if I'm right and you're wrong? Just wondering.
Were the ones that were teaching the wrong doctrine and the wrong Jesus, and I think what they believed, they thought was what was best for me at the time.
Sure.
So
the idea was meant well.
you're correct. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Do your parents understand what you believe now?
Yeah.
They do?
Well,
God damn it, I keep forgetting I hit the mute. What I was saying was, no, I agreed. Apostle Mike came in here with the hard hitting questions, and one thing I know, and what I was saying when I was muted is I haven't seen him in the chat, so maybe he'll hear this later. But I'm saying this knowing that I'm not just blowing smoke up his ass. Pasta doesn't get enough credit for his question asking skills because he's usually behind the camera, he's producing and directing and doing all that. But he's a gangster, man. Pasta Mike's a gangster, and question whether it's using a Socratic method or whatever. He's a beast, man. He's a beast.
my mom does. I don't have a relationship with my father anymore.
Okay, sorry, dude.
Oh, that's fine. But yeah,
Bruce
I think my
Wayne,
mom has
you should get some
kind of
some extra cheese.
witnessed to her and showed her that the church we were raised in, or that she raised me in, was not correct and wasn't biblical. So,
do you think there's a difference
How do you know?
between churches that
How do you know that?
may unknowingly be teaching incorrect doctrine and are actually teaching it to deceive?
you said, is there a difference?
No, do you know of any, or is
Yep.
there something that you could maybe share? For example, the church that you grew up in, you're saying that factually that they taught the wrong doctrine.
Right.
Do you know that they may have done it by mistake, or is this something that was done intentionally?
I think it was how they were. I don't think they had an understanding of the Bible, of the God of the Bible, and how, His love and His sovereignty. Like I say, I think they just had an idea of it, and they ran with it. Just like Chris was saying, the rapture.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy wrote the Left Behind series. It's not biblical, but so many Christians believe in it. So I think they thought they were doing what was right.
I got you. Do you think they'd be open to learn what you learned?
So again, Pastor asked, opening him up with great questions, and literally just said, Mom and Dad, they had an idea, and they ran with it. Well, Logan, I think Mom and Dad could say the same thing about you, is you got this new idea and you've ran with it. Possible? You got to think about it.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Why do you think there's so many people that have a difference of opinion when it comes to Christian theology?
That is a good question. I think most people find what fits their lifestyle and fits their preference. I think they find stuff that aligns with their beliefs, whether it be Reformed theology or Catholic, or I think they find what best fits them, and they can ultimately be themselves. I guess just like with progressive Christianity, a lot of people are going towards that because it.
And see, that's where I would say the same thing about Calvinism, and most of the Calvinists that I know is it's this, we have a God, we love this God, we have this tulip thing, blah 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 blah. But there's still enough grace, in Romans, saved by grace through faith. There's still enough grace because of faith that I I can have a few beers, I get drunk, I can smoke cigarettes, I can smoke cigars, and depending on which Calvinist you're talking about, but there's a big chunk of them that think that way. I could say the same thing. I could say the same thing that you picked one that it makes you still feel like you're a militant Christian, that you're fighting the good fight of faith, yet you still get to tickle the flesh, as the Christian pastors like to say.
Preaches universalism. Everybody gets to heaven. They say it's okay for homosexuals and all that stuff.
Oh boy.
So it fits their lifestyle, so that's what they choose to believe.
It's fair to say that one can read into something, regardless of whether it's the Bible or
We'll get into that next time. Don't you worry.
any book, any literature. You can read into it, and you can find something that kind of plays into your narrative, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So
I want to rewind back to Abraham and Isaac before we
Okay.
Yeah, before we end here on Abraham and Isaac, that was the when he said, and I quote, homosexuals and all that stuff. That's one of those things where as soon as they say it, they realize what just came out of their mouth, and they're like, "Oh, I should really be inclusive to all the other stuff too." So it's not like I'm just pointing out homosexuality, because think about it again, it's another fork in the road. Whereas Christian believers, they have to determine whether they're actually going to verbally commit these people to eternity in hell, by way of their God and His judgment.
So I'd ask you guys, if God asked you to kill your children, would you do it?
Sure.
And then just, what was the answer?
I don't know if I could.
I don't think I could.
That too, CJ.
Does that mean Abraham loved God more than you guys love God, or what does that mean?
I mean, he says he was the father of faith, so I guess so. But again, we're not.
And I'm glad Theo said this. Traditional historical Calvinists were very humble and all about working. So whether indoctrinated or not, I agree that, Chris and Logan are two of the more pleasant Calvinists that, they have spoken to or do speak to. It's now, and maybe it's, because just like each religion kind of has, there's these new waves, there was evangelical, then there's a new wave of evangelical, and then it turned into prosperity and healing, and, it just went all these different directions. But there's a good number of Calvinists now that when I speak to them and when they tell me they're a Calvinist, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, something is shifting there, because I do remember when Calvinists were some of the more chill ones to talk to. Now it's like it's this arrogance of, no, I know that you're going to hell. I know it, and I know that you believe in this God. You're just suppressing the belief, and there's just like arrogance in it, and I can barely talk to them. The ones that are like that, I can barely have a conversation with them, because it's like it's not your belief that I'm having a problem with. It's the pure arrogance in it, and it's dripping off of you. So it is, Theo. I agree. At one point, it was that. Now there's, like I said, kind of a new wave, or you said new generation. Who knows?
In that time and that context, and we've lived different lives, all those things matter, right? It's a tough question.
It would be the same with
Yeah,
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. If you knew you're going to be thrown in a furnace, would you stand up and?
Well,
Right.
killing yourself is one thing, but killing your child is a whole other conversation, in my opinion.
Sure.
So in that, well, first let's go to
That happened.
love. So God is love. That's
He is.
what He is. It's not a characteristic or a personality trait. Does love require us to kill to demonstrate love?
I mean, I think it could.
For the record, I'm not angry or mad at anybody. But
I'm
it's,
sorry.
It's but still even in that context, Chris, we're with Isaac still not dying. So we'll get there. Okay, he didn't die. But again, now we're dealing with the abuse.
So
of
so
a
look
human.
at the rest of his life. What forms of abuse do you see that affected him? Because his life's documented, right?
Well, right, but what you're doing is that's just an easy way to skirt around the fact that there was abuse in the name of God with trying to demonstrate. Well, no, that's what it is.
Again, you could say that, but what evidence do you have that shows that he was physically, mentally abused and his life was never the same? What's your evidence of that biblically? Because that's what you're going off of, the Bible. So
Well,
biblically, where do you see?
I mean,
that?
there's a lot of things that if we want to do it, and not, I'm not trying to turn this into a debate, but
Sure.
we can do the circular, well, the Bible,
Right.
But if you and I did that to one of our kids today, and somebody called Child Protection Services, what are they going to say to us?
Oh, shoot,
It's abuse. Whether the Bible comes out and says, hey, Abraham abused his son.
and that's why I keep saying time is different. That's what at
No.
that time, that was not something that was so out of the ordinary.
And that sets them up every single time. They're either going to go to time and context, or because God is good, and anything that is derived from God's character is good and can only be good. So even if it's bad, it's still good. You can't do that. That logically contradicts. You can't be good and bad. You can't be good and evil. However you want to, break up the definitions. Come on, man.
That you go in prison type of thing.
And I'm asking this because
And this
maybe
is
I'm
part-
not aware. Is there another story where God asked somebody to do that?
I would have to think on that. I don't think so.
But human sacrifices
But
was.
human
It
sacrifice
wasn't an isolated event. But the son was. But human
Did you see the look on my face?
Well,
Did you see the look on my face? They were literally trying to justify it, but human sacrifice back then really wasn't that big of a deal, And I'm not mocking them; I'm mocking their Bible, just so we're straight. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
and that's what I'm saying. I'm the reason I go back to this one because I'm a dad, so I can directly relate to it. But that's one where the Bible God went to this single person and said, "I want you to kill this human being, which is your son, the one that you love," he says.
Yeah.
And then he comes and actually it's like, "Don't do that." and then essentially,
The Message Bible would say like
gotcha. but then whether you want to glaze over it or not, the what's left there in the proverbial ashes is that's abuse to a human being. That's child abuse, and I have a problem with that. That first we asked.
Secular rarity. It is very grace oriented. It hinges a lot on on grace, but they it's how do I want to say this? It's grace and faith. I mean that's really they rested on Romans. I think from the ones I've talked to anyway, in the little bit of study. I haven't done tons, but a little bit of study I've done into it, where it is really what they hammer home is you're saved by grace through faith. It's not through works. It's not through man. So I think you're on the right path.
For a death, then okay, we played a prank because you were actually going to show that you loved me and that you're loyal to me. But now we're left with somebody that was abused. Now, whether that trauma lasted for a day or for 30 years, no, we don't know that. But the bottom line is the abuse happened. So back to my original question, that story is in its entirety. How do you, just as first men, but then as fathers, how do you ground that? How do you rationalize that in your head? And how do you deem that?
That's good, Javier.
I don't know. I feel like I would contradict myself because I don't know enough about this subject to speak on it intelligently, I guess. Because you said that's your favorite book of the Bible, so obviously, or your favorite story. So you've obviously done your research and thought a lot about
Once
it.
or twice.
Me, I just I don't glaze over it, but I read over it. I haven't thought about it as much as you have.
again, I got to keep reiterating this. God did the same thing, but he did not stop his hand through Christ. That is why everything in Scripture is about him. Man tries to make it about everything but him. Well, God said this and that morally does.
So God was a bigger prick to his own son than he was Abraham's son. That's what I hear when I hear that. So I don't know that that makes anything any better there. And then to the chat room, Theo said, I think old school Calvinism didn't believe in free will, more like just good and bad people. Yeah, and really the free will that they're talking about, this generation or whatever of Calvinism it's still not free will. What they're trying to do is make it feel a little better. Make that decision feel a little better, like you're actually free to decide it when you're not. It's still an ultimatum.
I don't care about morality. I mean, don't get me wrong. We can have that discussion. But that's why all these little side things, it goes back to one thing, man. Are you going to trust him or not? You're going to trust in your understanding or his.
Yeah. Well, let's just skip ahead and say Logan's belief system that he has is true. We just found out yesterday. Calvinism is the thing, right? There is no argument, in other words. If you accept that as true, is that justified for him to get to heaven?
No.
So it's not just simply him then saying, "Okay, I believe in this is true."
No, because it says in the Bible that even the demons believe that God exists, Jesus exists.
Okay.
I want you to pay close attention to how I'm staring into the camera, because this is getting better. This is only going to get better.
And there's not demons in heaven. So it's not
Understand.
enough just to believe.
So what's that next step that Oz would have to do? Is it like accepting him as his savior?
Correct. Yeah. Acceptance, and then so once you accept Jesus, you're immediately justified in the eyes of God. And then there's a process of sanctification where God is working in you to become more holy until we meet him. So we're in the sanctification process from when we accept Jesus until we die and we meet him again. And it's all about accepting Jesus. And then there's a change. Like if you were an atheist, and then there's a change in heart, and now you're a believer, and then you repent.
Mm-hmm.
The things that you sin and you go against God, you repent of those. So simply just believing, and you follow the Bible. Just simply believing isn't enough.
Sure. So it's not just the belief element of it.
No.
Now, if not for the writings in the Bible,
Which and this part where you don't see behind the scenes is Apostles want to do like a little bit of an interview with just Logan. What I wanted to ask him there is then whether you're a Calvinist or a Christian, in Romans it says that you believe in your heart and you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord. So what you're telling me is that if I say it out loud and I believe it, that I'm not saved, now there is something else that I have to do, which then absolutely destroys the Calvinist position of, in your traditional Christian position of everyone is saved by grace through faith, and works cannot save, works will not earn your way to heaven. So which one is it? Is it all of the above? Is it none of the above? See, the web just gets bigger and stickier.
how would you know what you just told me to be true?
I couldn't if it wasn't for the Bible.
So just to be sure I'm following you, you're going off of writings in the Bible to state what you just stated.
Correct.
Okay.
Which are the words of the Bible they were ordained by God. So that's why I go off of it.
And you don't see that as a form of circular reasoning.
I don't think so.
Okay. Now, Oz, if the question I'm going to put back on your lap is if Logan's worldview was.
And just so everybody knows, if you go to tart.live and go to the shop, We do have a Circular Reasoning Works because Circular Reasoning Works because Circular Reasoning Works t-shirt available. Go and get your very own today at tard.live.
Proven to be true without a shadow of a doubt. So it's true. Like, this is truth now. It's been proven. Why would you not adhere to it?
Well, because if we have that book, and that truly is the God-breathed text, I can't align with the actions that God.
What would be the consequences? And feel free to chime in here. What would be the consequences if he did not adhere to it?
Hell.
So after it would be something afterwards. It'd be like after he leaves the earth.
After death.
Okay.
Yep.
What the?
And you'd be okay with making that decision?
Hell yeah. No pun intended.
Yeah, I can't. If I'm going to be true to my.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. This is free because we can't have. So.
Yeah. Free beers.
Oh,
Yeah.
atheist beer.
And notice, I just want to say, I just want to say that God works in mysterious fucking ways. Why is it I'm sitting at the table with two damn Christians and I'm the one, the atheist, gets the free shit? Blessings on blessings on blessings.
Yeah, if it meant me being true to my what I value, that I value human life and doing the right thing by other humans, children, all that, yes, I would pay the price of hell to not be aligned with that character.
Now, here's where it gets a little bit convoluted here, or conflated. So, in theory, if Logan's belief system is true, and God then is the one true God, he's created, now help me out, Logan. He's created Austin. He's given him free will to be allowed to make that decision. So Austin can make that decision.
Sure.
So that brings us to the Pharaoh. So is Austin hardened in his own heart, or is God killing him by sending him to, well, not killing him, torturing him for eternity?
So that's interesting you bring that up because we were talking about it. So there's predestination that we talked about,
Sure.
but also in the Calvinist theology, there's a thing, and people don't like to talk about it, or when you explain it to them, they get mad.
Is God mad right now because he made it rain?
No, I don't think
Got to percolate in.
so. That's Christian.
Okay.
No, we gotta have a rainbow.
It's tears for Austin.
That's right.
God's tears for Austin.
That's right.
There's a concept called double predestination.
Oh.
And I don't know if y'all are familiar
That's a new one.
with that. Okay. So predestination is God elects those that will be saved.
Okay.
But on the reverse of that, he elects those that will go to hell.
Goddamn wind.
And you have the reprobates. And some people are like, God is willfully going to send those to hell. Well, if he predestines some to go to heaven, there's going to be those that don't accept him. And if he's already ordained this and he's sovereign, there'll be those that go to hell. And I can't remember where it is about the clay doesn't speak to the potter. I can't think of the book right off the top of my head, but there's this talks about the clay. The potter will make clay for good, and the potter will make clay for evil. The clay doesn't say to the potter, "Why have you made me this way?" In a short, I don't know it right off the top of my head. But if I believe in predestination, that God elects those who go to heaven, I believe that he.
And again, Logan was a great guy. This is more of a comical observation there. I can't remember what episode it was, but he reminded me when he was trying to get his words together. It reminded me of an episode. I think it was Andy on The Office, and was trying to tell a story and be convincing. And it was like I have the right words, but I can't get them out. That's what I love.
Elects those who go to hell.
Brother said, Steve, what up? What up?
You gonna burn, Austin. Sorry, bud. What kind of conversations do you like to have with either your fellow theists, Christians, or do you like to engage with agnostics or atheists?
I don't get the opportunity a lot. I've interacted with Muslims and Mormons more than atheists. So it's a real different experience, and I enjoyed it.
He told me in the bathroom that he thought that he was rambling on a little bit.
Yeah, I felt like I was rambling.
I told him he did good.
So, Logan, do you know what atheism is?
Yes, now I do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have that stigma of Marilyn Manson type of figure.
The beautiful people, the beautiful people,
Enjoyed speaking
the
to you
beautiful
guys.
people, the beautiful
Likewise, my friend.
people.
Well, Logan, very nice to meet you. I hope you have a wonderful trip back.
Awesome.
All right. So, first of all, big shout out to Pasta Mike. He's killing it with them Atheist Pizza episodes, and I'm looking forward to doing some more with him. We've reached out to a few other people, and we're hitting highways and the byways to preach the message of the Atheist Pizza. No, I'm kidding. But we are going to do some more interviews. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun doing some more of those. Javier, yes, I'm I already screenshot your question, and I am going to ask that. It's a good question there for those that didn't see it. But what was I going to say? Yeah, moral of the story is on this is if God is real, God is not great. If God is real, I don't think he really gives a shit about us. I think he gives a shit about his own agenda and his own will, so to speak. And there's zero sarcasm intended when I say this. The more I study, the more I learn, the more I walk through my own personal process, the more my heart breaks for the people that are truly investing their entire lives into this belief that the only little bit of evidence they have is it drives in a book, and there's no external sources for the book. There's no way to verify the book. The only way to verify the book is with the book, which we learned in the chat. We can't do, right? We can't do that. Well, I mean, you can. I'm sorry, you can do it, but it's not a logical conclusion, and really, you're gonna probably end up hurting yourself, in the long run, and letting yourself down if one day you do come to know, that you were using circular reasoning and not going through a true logical process to get to the actual truth of the answer that you were looking for. But just so everybody knows, we do have the circular reasoning shirt here. If you would like to make sure you help all of our theist friends understand what it is. I do own one. I own the white one. I got rid of the white one because the black one was the only one that really sold. But you can purchase that at tart.live. So it's there, and I think we have I'm actually going to have a bracelet made with this too here very soon. Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I told you that you could go and get that. So circular reasoning works because circular reasoning works. Because. So thank you guys for hanging out. And I think, what's tomorrow? Wednesday? Yeah. So with the snow here where I live, everything's still has everything shut down. I will be reviewing. Well, whether it's shut down or not, I'll be reviewing just Jeff's debate from Saturday night. It was his first one, and he kicked ass. Super proud of him. He did awesome. He even came in. He came in a fucking suit jacket. Do you understand that this some bitch usually comes to a stream in pajamas? He came in, hair slicked back. He did not look like a weasel. He actually looked like somebody that came in and knew what the fuck they were doing, and then he actually did it. Joan said, "Oz, it is heartbreaking," referring to the the indoctrination. Everything it is sucks. I hate it. So the white ones are limited edition. Yes, Murder Steve, they are. So you and I have a very, very we own some of the very few that were sold. Jesus Christ, if I could talk. Suit jacket and Daisy Dukes. Yes, but that is still better than Gavin Herleman, or however the fuck you say his name, coming on our channel with no draws on at all, sitting on his hemorrhoid pillow ball thing, and then acting like he didn't know what he was doing, and not wanting to apologize or take ownership or be accountable for that like a grown man should. But I shall digress. Last two things here before we go. So we have some folks on that were not on earlier. Oh, hold on. Pavel, you said what? Pavel, if you go look up on our channel when we're done here, the debate had Randolph Richardson and Gavin Herleman on there, and the dude, we didn't know it until later, I can't remember when it was, that we realized that it was actually happening because the lighting was weird and it was hard to tell. But yeah, the fine gentleman came on to our platform with no draws. Yeah, it happened. It sure enough did. I was like, what the fuck? As soon as I realized what was going on. All right. So first thing, quickly here on Saturday night, 8 p.m. I bumped it up by an hour, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to have the Atheist Roundtable. Turn up, normalizing atheism, new faces, new voices, new channels. It's all about new YouTube atheist creators all night Saturday night. So come hang out with us. More importantly, come hang out with them, and find the ones you like. Go hit the subscribe button. Get their content, and it's gonna be a blast. I'm really looking forward to that. And then I just posted the YouTube thumbnail last night for this, the Tart Live Ultimate Debate Championship. From everything I've done and everyone I've talked to about it so far, this has never been done before. And we're going to kick this shit off. So it's going to be one entire day, 12 debaters, 11 debates, one championship. And people are already asking, how are you going to have 11 debates with 12 debaters in one day? We're going to use two channels. I'm not sure what the other channel is going to be yet. That'll be that will be shared later. But the first two rounds are going to be basically condensed or shortened debates. So like 20 minutes, maybe half hour, and the topics will be picked on site live, randomly chosen out of a hat or a basket or whatever, and there'll be about 20 to 30 minutes. The last debate will be an actual full-on hour and a half or so debate, and then the winner will get a cash, like Visa MasterCard cash card. I don't know the amount yet because I'm going to see if there's anybody else that wants to sponsor and help and really make it lucrative. But it's going down March 20th, and I'll get times and all that as we get ready to put together. But I want people to start talking about it. So soon you will see two links out on the social medias. You'll see a link for those that want to debate, and then you'll see a link for those that want to be judges, because I'm going to need a judge per debate, and those that want to help that. And I'm not going to be a judge. I'm not going to be involved. I'm just going to oversee it. That way nobody can say for accountability and integrity purposes that I keep my hands off it, and I just kind of orchestrate and make sure everything looks good and it's running smooth and all that. So that's coming up very, very soon, and that's gonna be fucking awesome. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream today. That was fun. I enjoyed doing that with Pasta Mike and Chris and Logan. Oh yeah, fuck. Gavin lost my respect at that point immediately. He could use hearts. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. He knew what the fuck he was doing. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And then I know Godless Granny has a show this afternoon or this evening or whatever. I forget what time it was. But I'm going to, I know Jim was on here a minute ago, but I think he had to leave. Yes, Eddie's faces are priceless. But I'll be on, if you guys Jim Benton is usually in here. He has his own show. If you go to the website. It's on the schedule here. I'll just pull it really quick so I make sure I get it right here. Yep, there it is. So be on Meeting Forge with Jim Bitten at 7:00 Eastern time. Hanging out with him, and we're going to kind of flip the positions. That sounds sexual, and I don't mean it that way. He'll be asking the questions. He's interviewing me. We'll say it that way. Yeah, we'll get this off here. But yeah, thank you so much, Theo. Thank you. Appreciate you guys' support. And we just created a new part of our outro. Just thanking all of our YouTube channel members, our patrons, and all of that. And if you guys ever think about you want to support in that way, if you don't already, we ask that you please do it, because the equipment upgrades. I did have it sitting right here. Where'd it go? Like we're upgrading cameras, and not just web cameras, but now that we're starting to maybe see the light at the end of the tunnel with COVID and everything. We're now starting to invest in like actual cameras to go out and do interviews, boom mics, things like that. We're starting to invest in that so we continue to grow the channel, because once COVID's done and it's passed, we'll have to be able to be more creative to keep growing and keep progressing and keep doing what we're doing, because people can now be out and about and do different things. So we need to be able to match that. So if you haven't already, we would love that, and be thankful. And I'm working on some things for the members, and I've been saying that for a while, but I'm kind of slow to just roll something out and it not be quality. So as soon as I'm happy with it, we'll roll it out. And if you do support, it's on the screen, but we appreciate all the support that you guys give us, and whether it's monetary, or you're in the chats every time, or you're helping us to plug and shill on social media. Thank you guys so much. We would not be at 2,200 subs in 10 months if it wasn't for the support of all you awesome fucking people. So thank you very much. Hope to see some of you at 7 p.m. If not, we'll see you. I think it's Friday. We'll be back at it with another Friday with another theist interview on the Chart Live show. So thank you guys. I'm out.